Hi, I'm Amy Stoneham. I'm the editor of Hidden Wires, and I'm joined today by Daryl Friedman, the Global President and CEO of CEDIA, and Wendy Griffiths, the Vice President of Global Development at CEDIA. Thank you both for joining me today.
Thanks for having us.
And you're at CEDIA Expo this week. How's it going?
Oh, it's the energy here is just incredible. People are telling me it's back to the old CEDIA Expo and great buzz, great energy. And I think people are just so happy to be back after, for many of them, it's been 3 years of being apart.
Brilliant. Yeah, certainly a lot of energy on the show floor with peer-to-peer discussions and busy aisles, sore feet. So I'd forgotten how hard a trade show is, but also the adrenaline's high. It's amazing.
Oh, excellent. That's really good to hear. We're going to talk a little bit more about CEDIA Expo in a little while, but I thought this would be a really good opportunity to catch up with you both and find out what's happening at CEDIA at the moment. Daryl, I know you've been in this role for almost a year now. How has it been your first year as CEO of CEDIA? Have you achieved your goals that you wanted to do in the first year?
Yeah, well, CEDIA, I've been with CEDIA now for about 9 months, and it's been a great 9 months. I think we've accomplished quite a bit in terms of repositioning and reestablishing the value of CEDIA to our community. We've established our 3 pillars, which are advocacy, connection, and education. Advocacy is really championing this industry to adjacent trades and consumers and governmental bodies. And connection is really bringing people together like we have here today. And education, we have the only globally recognized certification in the smart home industry. So we based those 3 pillars and expanded that into a strategic 3-year plan. And I think we're really on par to do some great work.
Excellent. That's great news. I know we spoke a lot when you first came on board with CEDIA about your aspirations and visions for the association. How are these developing a year on?
Well, I think very good. I mean, I know one of the things we talked about when I met you at ISE was the work to advocate for this industry and to really be a voice for it and champion for it. Give you sort of an example here from CEDIA Expo that's US centric, but I think it applies to worldwide, which is we had an advocacy town hall breakfast. We asked people to come up, meet us at 7:30 in the morning on the first show day to hear about the advocacy work we were doing and how they can help expand and amplify that work. And 300 people came, and really There was such a great excitement and energy for this. So I think that's a good sign that people are seeing the value of CEDIA, the work that only we can do on behalf of our community. And Wendy could probably add to some of the activities that she's seen so far.
Yeah. So the activities are strong, and the global community are really coming together to champion and get behind us in the advocacy work that we're doing. So it's great.
That's great. That's really good. 300 people turning up is amazing as well. So really, really good news. Could you talk a little bit about the planned global direction for CEDIA for the year ahead?
So for the year ahead of us, we have some focus markets that we've actually invested in over the last few years from a resource perspective. But if you look at the work that we're doing, so firstly, as Daryl has said, the fact that we have globally accredited certification that's accessible to our membership in the industry around the world is a massive step forward. So the positioning of that as an industry certification and rolling that out into countries where people can get access to the education online to lead up to that certification exam is a big part of our plans, and that's applicable in all the markets that we're in. There's certain markets where we're hosting events. Obviously, ISE is our big platform for Europe, and we've got some things going on there that I know you want to talk about a little bit more during the discussion today. But we've got events going on in India, we've got events going on in Australia, in Mexico, in Canada, as well as the UK and the US. We've got the EMEA Awards coming up on the 14th of October, which we're really excited about. And I think one of our core things, as Daryl said, it's about connection and it's bringing the community together. And we can do that both virtually and, as you said earlier on, through how COVID has changed how people access things. We can do that now virtually, but we can also do it in a face-to-face environment and balance the two out.
Yeah, so you're really putting a focus on this global outreach for the next year ahead and expanding that.
Yeah, we've got a number of programs which are very much adaptable for wherever you're based in the world. So the work we do with the architects and interior designers, we give members access to great marketing tools where they can go out and build relationships with architects and interior designers wherever they're based in the world. And that's been a really strong program for us. As far as our standards, they're obviously being implemented from a global perspective. Our white papers are applicable from wherever you are in the world. So we truly are global in terms of the content that we're developing and the programs we're building.
Great. And CEDIA Expo, are there any highlights that you've seen so far? If you've managed to get around on the show floor very much, I'm not sure if you've had much time, but is there anything you'd like to point out at all?
From a product perspective, I haven't been focusing on that, to be honest. I've been focusing more on the fact of bringing people together in the community. We did have the Manufacturer Awards yesterday.
Yeah.
And that was great to see some of the products that are being recognised. And they're not necessarily new at Expo, but they are new to the industry.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just nice to see sort of the breadth of how the industry's changed. This is my 20th year of doing Expo.
Wow.
And I think back to the days at the start where it's all about audiovisual, and obviously it's so much beyond that, the wealth of the products that are here and the industries that are represented.
And the new categories too are so fascinating. I mean, to see lighting and shading growing the way they are, wellness categories. I've just begun to walk the floor myself, and it's my first expo, but I'm seeing just these fascinating categories growing. And the other thing I'll mention is we had a great opening keynote where we had a speaker, Greg Durkin, talking about the content overload and how integrators can really be helpful to the consumer and be a concierge to help them manage this maze of new content. So great thought leadership, great energy, and great maximum attendance of the show.
Oh, great.
And adding to my earlier statement actually about the design build community, we've actually got the NKBA, which is the National Kitchens and Bathrooms Association, here today. Okay. And they brought a number of their members along. They're going to be doing a tour of the show. We've got some panel discussions. So we're bringing that community into CEDIA Expo as well to align some of that work with the programs that we've got and focus on the advocacy to that sector.
Oh, excellent. Okay. And obviously CEDIA Expo, there's a huge focus on education, training. Can you run us through a few highlights on that?
Well, Rich Green's here, and he's always a popular one with the technology trends. That's gone down really well. We've got a lot of work and education around the new standards, the RP28, and that's also proved to be really popular. But I think people are just, judging by the education rooms, when I'm looking in through the doors, having a little peek through, people are just so engaged with lapping up the educational content. And there is a wealth of it here. Andy Beckner, who heads up our education, and the rest of her team have built a brilliant program. And the great thing is the delegates that are here are very much engaged with it, and they've got an all-access conference pass. So it's really up to them as to how much they want to spend time in the education rooms, as well as learn on the show floors about the new products that are out there to support their business.
Great.
And many of the educational sessions have been sold out, so it shows the great popularity and some really new approaches to this, including some management tracks and some other things that are kind of refreshing for a CEDIA's conference.
I sat in on I think it's called the Triple P course. It's basically a version of COI training on Wednesday. And it's great to see that in that audience, we had people from Brazil, from Canada, from the US, from the UK. Wow. And it was a full class. So, yeah.
Wow. It's so important to keep up this training and education. And like you say, to bring all corners of the world together to do this. So, yeah, really, really good. I know, Daryl, you said about some of the themes you're seeing at CEDIA Expo this year. What are some of the themes we're looking to see? Are these kind of a reflection of what we're going to be seeing in the next year or so? Do you think there are things you're seeing this year at CEDIA Expo that could be something that's up and coming for the next couple of years? How are trends changing?
Well, I think what Wendy said earlier about this starting as an AV show and now really expanding, and just in terms of shading, for example, like the penetration in the marketplace right now, it's less than 1%. So the growth opportunities for integrators here is immense, and I think they're seeing that too. And when we did our market survey earlier this year, we saw that integrators were seeing this as a major growth opportunity. So lighting and shading. Of course, our population is aging, and this is an opportunity for integrators to provide comfort and allowing people to stay in place and age in place and be comfortable and not, even as mobility changes, they can still control everything in their house. So I think those are the two things that you're going to see a lot of growth areas in. There's, of course, a whole section on work from home, because that's now a thing that's going to be here forever.
Yeah.
And so there's a whole section about communication, collaboration, and working from home. So these are some of the main areas, but there's so many things here happening at CEDIA Expo. Personally, I've only just scratched the surface myself.
Wendy, would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing, and this was touched on with the keynote as well, is focus on how content is being absorbed these days and how people are accessing that content. And that was a big part of the keynote presentation on Wednesday evening. Sorry, lost track of days. Exhibitions. But yeah, I'd absolutely agree. And I think the wellness side of things is something we're going to see coming more and more into the fold as people are conscious of, with working from home, balancing life better. And that's going to impact on their demands in their own home as to how they utilize it.
Yeah. Great. Looking ahead a bit, not too much though, because it's coming around very fast. ISE next year, what can we expect from that in terms of CEDIA? What sort of things are you going to be doing there?
Well, we're going to be doing our education program again. We always find it's really popular in ISE, and with it moving to Barcelona, we've got some opportunities to really expand on that educational program. We've got a residential smart stage as well. For the first time, a focused stage on the show floor, particularly for the residential sector. And we're going to be curating the content for that. The members will be really pleased to hear that the members' reception is going to be back. I know they missed that last year, so we're going to be back with that as well and bringing the community together. I think the discussions I'm having with our members globally is that there will be a huge audience coming in from the Far East, from Africa, from Australia, as well as sort of the European markets as well. So yeah, unfortunately I missed it last year, so I'm excited to get back to it next year.
Oh, great.
And ISE is looking to be even bigger than last year. I mean, the projections and the sales are really increasing quite substantially over last year, which was very successful. So I would say to any brands watching who have not booked their booth yet to go ahead and do that soon, because space is getting tight.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope CEDIA Expo continues going brilliant, and hopefully everyone's enjoying themselves. It looks like a really, really good show. And I look forward to hopefully catching up with you in Barcelona in February. Thank you so much.
And hopefully we'll see you here at Denver next year for CEDIA Expo.
Absolutely, will do. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Amy.
Great talking to you.
Thank you.
Bye.